Hi, I'm Sam.
I'm Matt. We remember. High five.
We did it. So, yeah, we just watched episode 10 of season 9 of Doctor Who, new Doctor Who, Face the Raven.
Revived Doctor Who. 10? I thought it was... Oh, yeah, because there was... Oh,
it is 10.
Because that's how numbers work.
Yep.
It's the one after 9, I think.
What'd you think? I thought it was great. First of all... Oh, yeah, spoilers? Yeah. Duh.
Yeah, spoilers.
I mean,
we spoil you.
So
we're not going to spoil you by not spoiling you. See, double meaning of the word.
Oh! This, I think, is the best companion exit in the show so far.
If it stays an exit, yes.
If it stays an exit. But I get nervous because there are 2 episodes left in the season to be dramatic.
I might be expecting maybe she'll get like some goodbye monologue or something, which I liked this.
And they don't need more.
Yeah, I'm just going to...
It's always dangerous. Much more dangerous that she went out here 2 episodes before the finales proper started than if she died at the end of the finale.
I was not going into this looking forward to it.
Because it seemed like... I had a bad feeling because I knew Maisie Williams was going to be in it, which is not a bad thing, but they didn't say what the episode was about in the previews, so I had this nasty feeling that it was just going to be treading water, setting up the finale.
Yep.
And I mean, it was setting up the finale, but it wasn't treading water.
Yeah, it was very much its own story. There's a tendency I've noticed, partly in 2-parters, especially in finales, that it opens, the Doctor walks his way into this innocent situation that feels normal, but then at the end it turns out it's Daleks.
Mm-hmm.
When Maisie was giving this monologue towards the end, I was terrified it would be Daleks. She was talking to people, I was like, oh god, it's going to be Daleks. Or my even bigger concern, it's going to be revealed to be Daleks right now. They've kind of dropped some hints it might be Daleks.
Where?
Aware of his confession dial.
True, they would be aware of his confession dial, obviously.
Some of the technology
unless they all died.
Some technology had some Dalek bumps on it.
Oh, yeah. I sort of don't think Stephen Moffat cares terribly much for Daleks.
Yeah.
We've had about as many of them, but they've been shifted away from being in finales.
Yeah, but that I think gets back to this point, that this whole episode, going into it, I even made this comment, it felt almost Davies-ish. Going into it, it looked like it would be.
So here's this weird place in, like, something or other land.
It's a weird place.
Let's just sort of be there, and then maybe a story will happen. Whereas Moffat's like, oh, this thing will kill you if you write the wrong words here. Oh, God, I'm so scared. Everyone run. Like, it's like, here's the concept. Go, 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 go.
Yeah, so let me talk about, and I might even want to make our own video on this sometime, but the difference I see between Davies and Moffat.
Okay. We should definitely shave most of it for its own video, because... Yeah.
The Doctor and Clara have just had themselves an adventure. And they get a phone call from Riggsy. He has a tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, you regretting getting a tattoo is not an emergency. But he doesn't remember getting a tattoo, which is also not that weird.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in less reputable tattoo artists. Most tattoo artists are good people and won't tattoo you drunk, but perhaps there's a less reputable tattoo artist, but that wasn't the problem either.
Mm-hmm.
The problem was that it was a magic tattoo, which is counting down to something.
Who knows?
Which immediately you think, wow, that's a kind of interesting thing. I want to know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And the Doctor thinks, that's interesting, I want to know what's going on.
So Riggsy is getting menaced by a fundamentally 2-dimensional force that is unexplained and changes even though it shouldn't.
We're unsure why Riggsy would be afraid of this. It seems like something that, would be just beyond his experience. He wouldn't necessarily associate that with the Doctor. You know one thing I liked?
Yeah.
I noticed and I loved? Throughout this season, even towards the end of the last season, but especially throughout this season, the Doctor's costume has slightly changed.
What did he do?
Last season, very well kept black coat, rather like the one I have that I have not worn. White button-down shirt, collar's a little large, and the black slacks and boots. Throughout, and he did some variants on that, but it was largely that. Sometimes, on occasion, maybe there was a t-shirt.
Mm-hmm. I
But
don't remember it, but maybe.
this season, and you know, they said he had a jumper, and I'm sure he did, but it was not. It was like just a sort of very. It was very severe. He looked very severe last season. This season, he's been wearing t-shirts. We even see him have it.
That's true. I can remember.
He has a graphic tee.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been wearing t-shirts and hoodies under the coat. It's been a lot more casual. This one, he goes. So we know we see him enter in his graphic tee and his coat and the sweatshirt. But the interesting thing about that, we see him enter and everything looks fine. He has absolutely no reason to change clothes. He never gives us a reason to change clothes. It's just that when we see him talk to Rigsy, his hair is cut shorter again than it has been this season, and he's wearing the very severe collar.
Oh, yeah. So he wanted to look severe for Rigsy?
He maybe wanted to make sure Rigsy knew it was him. I'm not sure, but it shows something.
Maybe it shows
a very intentional decision.
Shows his trust for Clara, that he doesn't care that how he looks around her or something?
Perhaps. There's something in there, and that maybe once we have enough time to think about it, we'll come up with something. But I just think that's an interesting notice. I'm very interested in fashion.
Alright.
Despite how I'm dressed at the moment. Go Cards.
So yeah, Rigsy's back, and I mean, I didn't have a super strong reaction to Rigsy last time, but he's one of the better actors to play this part that's been played so many times of this guy.
Yeah.
Weird situation, he teams up.
Yeah,
right?
I didn't love Rigsy when I first saw him, but there was also the fact that he came back here did not seem gratuitous.
No.
Which has been a problem sometimes in Doctor Who. It's like, oh, and then here's Jack Harkness again. Look, it's the guy
you like, the Jack man.
It is the guy you like.
Yes.
Look, it's that Jet Larry girl you love. Like, oh. But it's like, it's the guy that you enjoyed, the really interesting one from that last episode.
Yeah.
But Rigsy was never that interesting of a person, so having him come back doesn't feel sort of like, look, it's the character.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like a natural progression of events. Especially once we consider what we find out about the story.
Yeah.
We find out why Rigsy's there. So, series of events. Rigsy calls at them. I've got a weird tattoo. No, really a weird tattoo. No, actually a weird tattoo. You should check it out.
Yeah.
And so they go and check it out. And they eventually figure out what it is. It's counting down to his death.
Yeah.
And he has amnesia the day before. What a mystery.
Yep.
A very end. They have to figure out, so they need to do some stuff to figure it out. They look at some old maps.
Yeah. So the Doctor, I don't know where the Doctor gets this idea. It doesn't seem to me to be quite earned that he would assume that it was related to the magic streets that may or may not exist.
No, actually I thought let me explain why I feel it was earned. London's an old city. And old cities, they kind of look... their maps look weird. They're kind of very chaotic, but they're very stuck, and they change, but... Okay, look. Boston, 17th century.
Oh, it's nice that you just had that.
Yes. Okay, Boston, 17th century. You see these sort of streets, they're very chaotic, because a lot of it has developed naturally, they're not intentionally planned streets. Sort of like, we have blank space, let's put a couple streets in through there. So that means that that there are going to be streets that are that and streets change over time. So if you look at this, I cannot use this to navigate modern Boston.
No.
No, it would be extremely difficult.
I don't think you can use anything to navigate modern Boston. But I don't know if our viewer can see this right here. Look, there it is. You see it there? That's what we're talking about.
They're looking at old maps to find the street that's gone, but Clara, I guess it's not stated this is why it's wrong. Clara unintentionally points out why that won't work, because the old map will have a trap street on it. Mm-hmm. So that street will be fictional. The heck out of you. That street was fictional. So they then use some exploration. Clara hangs out the side of the TARDIS, looking a little like Matt Smith on one of his finale stories, remember?
No.
I seem to recall him dangling out.
Oh, you mean when she was dangling out? Okay.
Yeah.
You said by the side, so I assumed she was just standing next to it.
No.
Okay, so the scene where she's hanging out, yeah.
She hangs out of the TARDIS, it bumps, she's enjoying the danger too much for the Doctor's comfort.
Yep.
And eventually they find the places that her eyes didn't look at. Thank God Clara doesn't have ADD.
Or else we'd all be ruined.
We'd be like, Clara,
You'd be dead.
Clara, we noticed you just see, according to our calculations, London does not exist.
Also, your phone does. You were just looking at your phone.
your phone exists. We found evidence of 2 buildings that you seemed really interested in, and we're trying to follow all the way, but Clara, you need to focus.
Yeah. She's so reckless. It's actually, it goes beyond, this is a person I want to relate to that person because she's spirited and I would like to think I was like that. And it's gone to, isn't this dangerous?
Yeah, we always want to relate to the character after, but always we see the companion, especially Clara, doing that.
Yeah.
She gets exhilarated after. She'll get pulled back in and she'll be like, that was awesome! And we'll feel like, yeah, that was pretty awesome, because we felt that excitement.
Yeah.
But only the Doctor ever seems to be really enjoying himself when things are going terribly wrong. Mm-hmm. Especially Matt Smith's first appearance. I'm doing something, I'm something. What am I doing? I'm crashing! So that was very... I loved what they did there. I loved seeing the Doctor's concern over it. They get there, they investigate. Apparently, there was a murder. Yeah. Apparently, Rigsy committed a murder.
Oh, there's a great shot. I was wondering how they were going to introduce the idea of the secret passage. Sorry, mm-hmm. Secret street. And so they have their whole search where they're looking for it by counting their steps. And because they can't experience that space effectively, they're going to lose count if they try to just count their walking. Which is a neat idea, it makes perfect sense. And they have this cool shot where there's so they need to show that it was invisible to them, but then show it clearly visible afterwards.
Yeah.
But ideally without special effects, because special effects are flashy and very much not like a redirection circuit or whatever the hell. It needed to be subtle.
I loved that.
So it's just he's like, can't you see it? And then we just have a panning shot. Yeah. Moving shot.
Yeah, especially
and we just see, they couldn't see it from that angle, but it feels like it's being revealed psychically.
It's being revealed to us, and they were not at the angle to look at it. Yeah. We always saw the angle, and we saw what you'd expect. You're looking at this visually, you're like, oh, what a weird street. This is a weird thing. There must be a magic street hiding it behind this wall. And then we get the shot from where he's standing. He's looking right down at it.
Mm-hmm. So, they get into the alley.
Yeah. And in the alley, there's people there who are very suspicious of them. They get trapped by electric bricks.
Yeah, that's the thing that happens. Only in London.
Yep.
And all of them have spookily appearing and disappearing Halloween masks, which means that they are actually aliens disguised as humans.
Yep, you get one guy who's a wolf man.
Yep.
Well, he's a normal man who turns into a wolf man. He's not. And then the other guy is a black guy who turns into an alien.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know why, but that guy just, he seemed cool. I think it's because he was in such a dirty environment, in such a pristine suit.
Yeah, it left an impression.
Everybody else looked at least a little dirty, a little, I guess one might argue, lower class or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But they looked like their clothes were lived in. It was immediately, you could tell something was wrong, because this person was dressed way too well for the alley. Even once we're seeing things, he's still dressed too well in this very pristine suit that it doesn't look like you can keep anything that clean. It looks like, you know, Clara's dress even looks like it immediately gets a little smudged more than his did. So it lent an air of weird unreality to him.
So, they're trapped. Lady Me shows up again. So, Macy Williams is back as Mayor Me. She needs a new name. How could she remember that shit name and no other name?
Well, because otherwise she would need to always be changing her name.
Oh, I guess because me is a word she knows already. So,
well,
so
and the way it is, here's the way I see it.
Yeah.
Okay. Imagine, you know, I'm Matt, and I'm like, hi, I'm Matt. I'm Matt, and then I introduce myself to you as Matt, and you as Matt, and everyone out there, and then you start to notice as time goes by that I'm you know, clearly wrong. So I leave.
Clearly wrong?
I'm staying young, you're getting older.
Young, okay.
Something's wrong with that, that's what I meant. So I have to leave, move somewhere else, and then take up a new name. But if I just introduce myself as me, I'm like, who are you? I'm me. It's eccentric. You won't think weird of if I have a name if I'm consistently using a name like Ashilda that's outdated and weird, and then the one person named Ashilda who kind of looks like that. But I'm me, nobody's going to be like, hey, it's me. Because introducing yourself as me is weird. And then if they do press you, like, come on, what's your name? You could be like, Jerry. But I'm me. I don't want it to be called Jerry. Just say me. It's like, what a weird person.
Mm-hmm.
So then if you'll try to look me up, you'll be like, where's Jerry? Google Jerry. No Jerry. I think it's cool.
Yeah. So, she has a conversation with Clara, and it's very important. She forgot the name of Shilda again.
Yeah.
Why would she hold on to it?
Yeah.
It's a sign of what she thinks is important.
Yeah. And the way she interacts with Clara is very cool. Clara feels like she's forgotten her. She acts like she hasn't really forgotten her, which I thought was great. She's like, oh.
Clara feels as if she's forgotten her?
Clara is reacting like Lady Me has totally forgotten her.
Yeah, and Lady Me doesn't think of it that way.
Lady Me, as soon as she realizes it's Clara, is acting, you know, oh yes, you're my friend Clara. I read about you in my book. Which, again, I love the external memory conceit.
Mm-hmm. That's great conceit. But she's very friendly, and offers her protection to Clara at the doctor's insistence.
Yep.
So this is her community, of course.
She is
the
community
mayor
of
weirdos.
Yeah.
She's the mayor of a street, which is not a common thing to be a mayor of, as far as I know. These are a bunch of refugees from different places around the alien universe.
Are you saying there's something topical about refugee camps, Sam?
If there were, it wouldn't have been the subject of any other Doctor Who stories this season.
Yeah, refugees would not be on anyone's mind lately.
I think we see a Cyberman, for instance, there. So that's when you're like, okay, so there's some actually dangerous people in here. Like a Cyberman, and she says, oh, we have a peace. The Cyberman's not going to do anything.
A Cyberman being serviced by a nude.
Oh, yeah, of course. But, like, in other words, they're potentially a dangerous community because Cyberman is the thing brainwashed to kill.
Yeah, it's great because we now see the importance of maintaining peace in this community because I don't know how dangerous a fishman black guy could be. And
fish powers, you can summon, like, whales.
we see the Jadoon.
Yeah.
But the Jadoon are freelance police. Mm-hmm. Like Sam and Max. Not like Sam and Matt. Very different.
No. But, So yeah, she's got her little community, and this is part of her thing to keep track of people who the Doctor leaves behind. So I guess maybe this is a sign that they're leftovers from some previous adventures that somehow came up to Earth, or...
Well, I thought it was more that this is her service to keeping track of the things the Doctor leaves behind. Partly maybe things that were in his wake, so maybe not the Cybermen he saw, but
yeah, that's not what I'm
the
saying.
war he was at.
Yep.
And also just, you know, she keeps track of things like the Doctor's companion, but she can't just be constantly eyes on the Doctor's companion. She needs to keep things quiet as well, so that the one or two rogue elements don't go crazy. So
Yep.
this is it's less just that she's taking care of the people in the Doctor's wake, more that she's doing the odd jobs tidying up. That's not a world invasion so much as a guy.
Mm-hmm. So, meanwhile, Rigsy is revealed. They're like, okay, we got this weird tattoo. We think he's got this weird tattoo. We think that he got it here, and everyone is immediately shuns Rigsy. Lady Me appears to be surprised too. It's like, why are you bringing this guy in here? What do you have to do with him? And they're like, they don't actually answer that question, but regardless, it's like he's going to die. What's going on? And it quickly becomes clear that he was suspected of, it appears to have committed a murdered one of the aliens in there, a Janus.
But we were also given enough evidence from his flashback to think that he didn't.
Yes.
Because he gets a flashback of dropping his phone and cracking the screen when he sees an injured woman.
Yeah. So, a member of the Janus race, so like that god with two faces, one on the back of the head,
and the back one is psychic.
Yep. So, I missed that. Did they say the normal face also can see into the past though?
No, the back face sees into the past. That one looks forward, one looks back. The back one looks into the past.
Yes, but then the forward-facing one should look into the future.
I think the forward-facing one does. It looks into the future 1 second per second.
Yes.
I guess the idea is that the forward-facing one can get some of that psychic power of seeing things that have already happened, but it can't actually communicate as well as the back one, which sees that.
Anyway, so yeah, she died, and her body is being propped up in some sort of containment stasis thing. So Rigsy is still the prime suspect, and it quickly becomes clear that, first of all, everyone believes that he did it, or either that, or they sneakingly believe that it's possible he didn't do it, but no one's willing to threaten the peace by saying that one of the inhabitants of the street did it. Yeah. So they think that he should just die for the peace. Yeah, at least that's what that one Wolfman
says.
The
black guy with the glasses explains to the Doctor that how offended he was that Rigsy was asking the mayor to call him a doctor.
Oh yes, and the Doctor's like, a doctor?
The Doctor realizes might have been asking to call the Doctor, which means the mayor realizes that this is a friend of the Doctor, which means more shenanigans. Meanwhile,
and he didn't call him, but she would have noticed.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Clara is talking to the Wolfman.
Yeah, and Wolfman mentions we also see an inhabitant of the place die. Yeah. To the mark because he stole some medical provisions, and we learn that basically you can't run, which is this Wolfman reiterates. You can't run from it.
Well, you can run, but you can't hide.
Sure. So I mean, it will get you.
Yes.
So you can either have the original caster of the tattoo, which is Lady Me, choose to remove it, or you can pass it on to someone else if you are willing and they are willing.
Yep.
For them to take it. So Clara has this great idea because because Lady Me promised her protection to Clara when they came in at the first time. She's like, "This is great, Rigsy. I will take your death tattoo, and we'll work through this problem. And once we finally get to the end, after we figured out who did it, or even if we haven't, more importantly, when I'm about to die, we'll reveal that it's me who has the tattoo, and she'll have to remove it because I'm under her protection." And I do think that...
and then here we see, though, that she missed a very interesting thing about what the guy said. We find out later. He said the tattoo could be removed or passed on.
Yeah, he didn't say both.
Yeah, you can't be passed on and then removed.
Like, I think it's fair game to some degree. Whenever someone takes a risk like that, it does, I guess, annoy me, because then it was not quite stupidity, but recklessness.
Yeah.
But at least it was recklessness that was excessively set up. Her recklessness was shown to be really extreme.
It was something, actually, on the other hand, I would have liked to see a plan like that work earlier this season.
Yeah, they could have made it more than just this episode and stronger, yeah.
They were definitely setting up Clara as too reckless this whole season, but we weren't seeing a plan. Here the thing is, Clara is not trying to play the game. She's trying to play the metagame.
Yes, and that's what's so interesting about the fact that she loses.
Yeah, and we only kind of saw her attempt to play a metagame before with other Clara.
There have been some other things. She plays the metagame with other Clara. She played the metagame facing down the Cybermen this season finale last season, which is like, I don't even exist. I'm actually the Doctor, or like, so she's been doing the bullshit spewing thing.
Yep.
It's not quite reckless though, so.
Yeah, there have been no situations.
Desperate, but not reckless.
That was just, I mean, to me that was just lying. That wasn't trying to play how she expects Cybermen to operate.
Yeah.
Basically, Clara's trying to be genre aware. Mm-hmm. Clara at this point knows she's the companion, and the companion doesn't die. So she will put herself in more danger. She does not perceive it. She may acknowledge that this is danger, but she doesn't see herself, I am potentially making a sacrifice. Yeah. She sees it as a risky gambit.
But she's in control. She really believes that the gambit will pay off. She doesn't really ever think it might not.
Yeah.
And also it's really helpful that Riggsy is someone we kind of like.
Yep.
As opposed to, and this is cold-hearted, as opposed to just another character we've just met.
Yeah.
So, what she's doing makes sense, and I'm like, yes, of course you would put yourself at risk.
Yeah.
Because your plan makes a kind of sense, which is exactly why I have such a bad feeling about it.
Yeah, it's a genre-aware plan,
yeah.
And she gets punished for being genre-aware. There's something at the end of the episode, so this sets up the final scene. The woman was never dead. The mayor had summoned Riggsy there.
Yeah.
And erased his memory to get the Doctor to come there because it would be a cool mystery to solve. They really wanted to get a teleportation bracelet on the Doctor, steal his TARDIS key, and then she would just undo Riggsy.
Yeah.
But Clara tried to play the metagame instead of the game.
Yeah. So it was an either-or. Once the curse is passed on once, presumably you can never have it just removed by the caster.
Yeah.
So from then on, it's
stuck.
It's stuck. Cool.
So Clara is going to die now.
You know what? Don't you think the Doctor could have taken it and regenerated?
I don't know if he could. The impression I got from
it annihilates your soul.
Lady Me's inability to saying that literally I can't, like literally this is not an option. I can't. There's nothing I could do. Was also you could pass it on only once.
Oh.
So it's a death sentence for you.
Yeah, she would have said.
You could sentence someone else to death, or you can get it totally removed from you. There is no other option. There is no, that person can then pass it back. Mm-hmm. There is no, you can pass it and then it will be removed from them. There is only pass or remove.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Clara thought she was playing the game pretty well, but then suddenly she realizes that she's going to die.
Yep.
And she doesn't freak out.
No,
because that would feel wrong.
She quickly accepts it. She accepts her death.
But because that's the thing, right? Like, writing a scene like that is the most difficult thing in the world. Like, what emotions, any emotion at all, every emotion could happen there when everything has just gone crazy. So how do you know the right thing for a character to do when they know they're going to die?
Yeah, we have...
And you wouldn't think it would be calm, but luckily it was calm.
Yeah, we don't know. And especially because you try to write human nature, but we don't have a lot of cases of people that we can actually look at their reactions to, I know I am going to die.
There's definitely no way out of it. That's a big part.
I have no way out, but, I have no way out and I'm not dead yet. Clara is, in a situation she can't get back from. She's going to die in just like 3 minutes, and she tries to her last action is, aside from walking outside to die, is to try to talk the doctor into not getting revenge.
Yeah, so the doctor is great here. They try to do angry doctor quite a bit, and they often fail. Because it doesn't feel important enough.
Yeah, here it really works.
Here it really works. The doctor doesn't have tears, because that's not his thing right now, certainly. I mean, we've seen tearful doctors before.
Yeah, so
when they don't want to go, for instance.
So there's a good reason not to make him cry.
But he does know how to get angry, and he really convinces me. When I'm angry, the universe will be a very small place, or something like that.
The universe is a very small place when I'm looking for you, or something like that. So it's great, and
he's pissed at Lady Meek, basically.
And this is the thing I love. Why? A much better explanation than Dr. Donna, why a human can't be the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally just, I'm more durable.
Yep.
A human can't be the doctor because the humans don't regenerate. The doctor can take these risks to a certain extent because he knows even if he dies, someone will be there after him.
Yep, and that someone will be him.
Yeah.
That's the interesting thing about being yourself and not yourself.
Yeah,
but it's certainly better than never being yourself again.
Yeah, you're accepting some level of death.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the things that you like about yourself will go, but there's a kernel in there that will stay.
Mm-hmm.
The doctor, though the doctor says, "I'm not the doctor anymore," or something like.
Yeah, he's starting to do that war doctor shit, and Clara's like, "No
war doctoring, no, we can't afford to bring back that guest star.
John Hurt is
very expensive,
very busy.
You can't be the war doctor." Clara doesn't believe that he's still that person, which is great. Mm-hmm. And he does, which is also great.
Yep. And that's borne out by everything else we see throughout the season.
Yeah, and we also see reason to believe that he's the one who's right. Mm-hmm. The only thing I would have changed is I would have wanted her to say, "Do as you're told."
They could have brought it
They
back,
haven't said it this entire season, but it was like my favorite thing last season.
I don't know why they throw it away, because that was exactly what she was saying. This is not a promise. I'm not asking you to make a promise. I'm giving you an order.
Yeah.
Don't seek revenge. Do as you're told. They just didn't throw in the do as you're told. It was ready.
Yeah.
It was easy.
I loved how last season they were constantly telling each other to do as you're told.
Yeah.
I think they tried to tone down the Clara is a control freak aspect. Tone down.
It certainly
Clara
did,
is
because now Clara is a thrill seeker.
Yeah.
Fine. It's okay.
It's fine, and it was a reasonable change in the character. It's something I believe happening to her, especially after her husband dies. That's a big fiance. Yeah. That's a big thing to go through, and so maybe for her that was a sign you can't control everything. Mm-hmm. Whatever. Point is, that scene was wonderful. It was a great goodbye scene. It explained better than anything else why the doctor can be the doctor and why you can't have another the doctor. Mm-hmm. It's only because the doctor will get better afterwards. The doctor will survive. The companion won't. The companion can't take that risk. Mm-hmm. Then she goes out and she dies, and it's very moving. The doctor...
The thing with the raven, when you die, a raven glides, you go...
It was what I loved. It was like an inverse of the doctor regenerating. He shoots out bright light, right. She shot out black smoke.
There was a moment there where she relaxed for a second too long before the black smoke actually started coming out. Yeah. Where I thought for a moment that it hadn't worked and she was still alive. And I actually grinned incredulously just as she died. I was like, "Oh, they're not killing her? How? What?"
I loved this story. It wasn't what I was expecting.
No.
I was expecting this would be the pre-finale story. Knowing that this was going to be the three-part thing, I was expecting basically that this would be the doctor shows up in a normal, small-time situation that is revealed at the end to be the big bad's plan this whole time.
And I technically, it is. It's just the Big Bad's plan is to get him somewhere, and then the story will start.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is that it was not revealed at the end who the Big Bad was, what the Big Bad's plan was, what the Doctor's going to have to do. And it looks like next episode, it's not
going to be the Slitheen.
It's not going to... Please, though. It's not going to be front-loaded in the next episode either. It looks like there will be a Dalek who's like...
Well, we'll see, because they can do...
there was some Dalek-y looking tech, again.
Yeah, they can do... But, hang on, I'll get to that in a second. They can do inaccurate trailer stuff. They have done it. So it's silly to judge too much by the trailer. But judging by the trailer, they're going for something weird. I hope that there's a serious lack of other people in the finale.
I'd heard rumors of it being almost a one-man show.
Because that's what I want.
That would be great.
Capaldi to emphasize the fact that Capaldi is alone. He doesn't have an enemy to banter with. That would give him comfort after his loss.
He doesn't have an enemy. He doesn't have people standing there going, like, we love you, the Doctor, come home, like Matt Smith did. Yeah. He just has... It's not a self-imposed isolation, which works, because even though he was self-imposed, it means that we feel his loneliness.
Yeah. But, like...
If they do this.
Yeah. As they say, okay, you can still change it. As he says in the thing, it's like, it looks like a place designed to be my worst nightmares or something. Which is a reason why it might have Dalek tech in it, besides the Daleks.
But it's also a reason he would be alone. That is one of his worst nightmares.
True.
Not having someone with him.
Yeah. But, so I'm looking at this next episode as some sort of punishment for the Doctor from someone who is not a fan, for instance. But something subtler.
It's Susan!
Could Susan come back?
We've been pulling for this. We were hoping it would be last season, but no, it was the Master.
Yeah. But, so something subtler, not a big machinations, but something else. The person in that position to want to fuck with the Doctor, of course, is Missy, but that would be boring, because we had Missy last time.
Yeah. So I want to draw a comparison to the old series before we go into our final conclusions. I want to draw a comparison, assuming this is at least close to the end for Clara. Maybe we get a monologue at the end, which is like a hologram or whatever.
Yeah.
But, like, close to the end.
I need her to be dead, because... I'll talk about that later. Go ahead.
Clara... The thing is... So there was also, through the Seventh Doctor's run, with his companion Ace, there was a similar sense of Ace is becoming like the Doctor. But the interesting thing, even though that was one of the darker Doctors, is that this was presented basically as a positive.
Mm-hmm.
It was essentially, isn't it great Ace is becoming like the Doctor? Isn't it great? Aren't there these great things? Isn't the Doctor a hero? Here isn't this terrible? Clara's becoming like the Doctor.
And it's not going to last.
Yeah.
Clara cannot hold.
Clara cannot be the Doctor. Mm-hmm. Someone else, like, we don't want Clara to be the Doctor. She is the companion. Even when she tries to genre wear it. In fact, that might even be part of the problem. She tries to genre wear on the assumption she's the Doctor.
She's forgotten that she's not the Doctor. It works so well, actually.
Yeah, she's trying to play on the assumption basically she is the Doctor, even if the Doctor is also the Doctor. But she can be the Doctor, and she can't be the Doctor because she's not a Time Lord. Mm-hmm. And she doesn't have these hundreds of years of experience. I think it's a great comparison to when we got Donna Noble totally could be the Doctor, but only for 10 minutes. And I was not a fan of that.
No.
So that's sort of my final thoughts.
You brought up Donna. We haven't had any successful companion exits in the new series at all.
Trying to run down.
I mean, there's nothing terribly wrong with Martha. It's just like
Rose.
I guess we're done.
Rose goes to an alternate universe. Martha kind of retires.
She sort of retires to be in unit.
She just leaves
and never shows up.
Martha
to marry another character who just happens to also be black. Not that that's a way that they're categorizing them on Doctor Who.
Yeah, because Martha and Vicky were so similar. So, but that's then again, she is a lot like his ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, they are a little similar. Basically, the gist of all that roundup was just to say that I want to give this one bonus points. I'm starting to think about grades. bonus points for finally telling an exit story that is free of all that shit.
Yep. I can't rule over the possibility that maybe there will be like a hologrammatic thing or something.
Or maybe she'll like somehow be linked to some weird science time thing. In any case, regardless of what happens, I want her to be dead by the end of the finale.
And the thing to me is, I will not accept it if she comes back and then gets killed again. But if there is...
if she comes back, it needs to be in like a partial sciencey way.
A partial form, or it's Clara from earlier in her life. Such that just, you can't, like, don't destroy this moment.
Yeah.
And one thing, okay, I saw on, now I'm remembering I saw on the Doctor Who fan page or whatever, was people talking about the important choice Clara made, but she didn't make the choice. It was kind of her hubris that did her in.
Yeah.
Which
it was no more her choice than Oedipus Rex.
Yeah.
Because Oedipus Rex didn't know he had a choice until he was dead.
Yeah.
And not until he was screwed.
She didn't understand her choice.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that didn't diminish it, I think. Because it was still...
she did it for noble reasons.
It was an
action. It was also
she took.
hubris.
Her hubris did her in, but her
Notice it's all a mix of different motives, some of which you could say are almost bad, and many of which are good.
It's both
caused her to make this choice.
It was both altruistic and hubristic.
Mm-hmm.
And she didn't run from the bad guy. Like, she didn't run from her death.
Mm-hmm.
She accepted her death. That was, I think, more meaningful than, like, she didn't choose to die, but she was willing to accept when it was over. And I think the writers should also, to an extent, be willing to accept that Clara is over.
Yep.
And not bring her back to make it... You can't sort of trick us after that. You can't be like, no, she's not really dead. She's going to be she's fine. She's going to be, like you did with Daddy. No, you got to be, she's dead. She's not coming back. We're not giving you an out here. At best, we're giving you a more, I guess, fitting goodbye to the audience.
Mm-hmm. I think we got the goodbye, though.
Yeah, I got one I'd accept. I don't know if other people might want something else, or if maybe contract reasons she can't just not be in it.
Yeah, but yeah. So she's gone, and I had something very specific to say. Huh. Okay. Any other thoughts?
No.
What are you thinking for a grade? I'm thinking it's really tough.
This is a very tough one, in that it's both complete and incomplete.
Oh yeah.
But I'm saying, taking it totally alone, B-.
A. That's how much I respect it. It's success.
Yeah. Good job.
Well,
see ya.
See you guys.